Good job, guys. We did it.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hi, Grace. How are you doing today?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. How have you been feeling since last session?
I mean, it's been okay. Desk duty has been hard.
Mm-hmm.
But really just everything's kind of the same.
Okay. What's been going on at work?
A lot of nothing for me.
Yeah.
My captain just wants me to finish this therapy crap and then I'll be back doing investigation. So this has been pretty boring. I just sit on my ass in front of a computer all day.
Okay. What's been going on just in your life after work and?
I mean, pretty much the same. Like, Earl keeps showing up. I mean, he's been a pain in the ass too.
Okay.
He's almost as bad as my captain.
When's Earl been showing up?
Whenever the fuck he wants. Like, that's why it's so irritating.
So he's been showing up a lot in the past few weeks?
Maybe a couple times a day.
Oh wow, okay. What's he been saying? Anything different than the last time we talked?
He just tells me to like stop drinking so much, and that's kind of funny. But you know, he talks a lot about God and his plan for me, and it's just so bizarre. It's nuts, and I don't like it. And he like eats all my food.
Do you have any ideas of? Can you see any consistency in the patterns of when he shows up?
No, like he just sometimes he goes on these trips and he'll be like in Asia in the morning and then just decide he wants to be in Oklahoma City.
So it's pretty random.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're drinking. You said he's telling you to stop drinking.
Yeah.
Are you still drinking after work with your team?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the only normal part of my day. I mean, I don't get to be out and do any like sort of investigation work, so that's kind of just what holds me together.
Okay. And about how much are you drinking these days?
A lot. Probably maybe like a 6-pack when I go out, and then maybe like half of that at night. Sorry, 1 second. I'm gonna fuck with you for a second. That stopped. Can you see what happened? How far was it?
You have a alarm thing.
Oh, so it didn't really stop.
It's okay. We'll just.
It's still going.
Okay. So, are you drinking till you're blacked out?
Some nights.
Some nights. Most nights a week, you're drinking.
Yeah, like every night.
Okay. Do you see a problem with your drinking, or is it something that is just pretty normal for you?
I mean, it's pretty normal. Like, my captain obviously sees a problem with it. Earl sees a problem with it. My team doesn't really say too much to me about that specifically.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what your captain's been kind of wanting from you through therapy?
She just wants me to come back more focused, and I don't really understand what she means by that. Because, I mean, I lead one of her most elite teams.
When she first asked you to go to therapy, you said that was after the accident. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you notice after that anything changing in your work?
I think maybe I was a little unfocused, but it really wasn't like major. It was like maybe like forgetting some like details, like really minor details. But that's the only thing that like really stands out.
Okay. Can you think of a reason that your captain sees a problem with the drinking?
No. I mean, I don't think it really affects my work too much.
What are you hoping to get out of therapy?
Back out onto the streets. I just want to finish
Mhm.
and go back to my life.
Okay. Let's talk about Earl a little bit more. Can you tell me just a little bit more about, you said he's showing up, it seems like more often these days. Can you identify anything that you're feeling before, after, during the times he's showing up?
Just irritated. Like, he just invades my space and my privacy, and like I'm a grown-ass woman. Like, he just comes in and like starts telling me what to do and making all sorts of crazy suggestions. He just needs to really chill.
So you said he's telling you to stop drinking. What else, what other suggestions is he having?
Well, he doesn't really like, how can I put this? The company I keep, specifically at nighttime.
Okay. And can you tell me what that might be?
I like to have sex. And I like to have sex with lots of different people.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about what that might look like.
We go to the bar after work. Meet some stud. And decide that maybe I want to take him home. And that's what happens, not every night, but a few times a week.
Okay. And Earl sees a problem with that.
Yeah.
Does he tell you why?
It's not safe. He says that I'm using it to like cover, like to bury something, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I have no idea what he's talking about.
To bury something, so he thinks there's something that maybe you're not dealing with?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of anything that's happened in the past that may be traumatic or something that he might be referring to?
I have no idea. I mean, I think we all have our shit, right? Like, but I can't pinpoint anything traumatic.
Okay. It seems like in your job, you might be experiencing some pretty intense situations.
Yeah. Mostly every day when I'm not on desk duty.
What kinds of things have you seen in your job?
I mean, lots of dead bodies. Victims of different crimes. I mean, rape, robbery. We kind of cover the whole spectrum.
And I mean, I can imagine that feels that's difficult to see.
It was at first, now it's just kind of like, whatever, it's second nature to see that, I guess.
So remind me again, when did you start this job?
7, 8 years ago.
Okay. And when you first started the job and you were seeing some of these things, did you get any training or?
Yeah, I mean, I started as a cop. So, yeah, I was a trained police officer. Then training just kind of came as I moved up.
So in dealing with these very difficult situations, at first you said it was hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
It was bloody. I mean, sometimes we get just these really horrific homicides, and that was really hard. Like physically, like it would just make me sick. Like the smell, the way the victim would look, the way that like the families would be reacting. It was just this physical sickness. But now I don't get that anymore.
Is there, during the course of the 7 years you've had this job, can you see a correlation maybe between you not feeling anything about seeing those things and maybe when you started drinking, or I know this stuff with Earl has been recent.
I mean, I think I've always kind of, maybe I didn't drink as much, but I've always loved beer and whiskey. So I haven't seen a correlation, really, no. I would say that maybe I drink a little bit more, but not that much.
Okay. I guess I want to focus on some of the things that Earl is telling you, because I think that there's perhaps some meaning to some of those things. You said he's telling you not to bury things with sex and drinking. Is that correct? Do you have any idea what that might be about?
No idea. I mean, he thinks that he knows a lot about me, but I call bullshit on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone has their shit, right? Like, there's not, it's not super important. It's just, there's just stuff that happens.
Everyone does have their shit, but people deal with their shit in different ways. And people having their shit doesn't mean it's not important or something that should be dealt with.
Okay?
It seems like you may have a lot of stress in your life with your job. I know that your job's very important to you.
It is. It's my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, my job and my dog.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your captain a little bit more. Could you tell me a little bit more about your relationship with, it's a female, her?
Yes. We were definitely oil and water. We were friends. I think we still kind of, I think we are friends. I think we just learned to move around each other a little bit better. But now that she's gone through the ranks quicker than I have, I mean, I think she just kind of gets a kick out of telling me what to do sometimes.
Hmm. And this therapy is one of those things.
Definitely.
And she's requiring this for you to keep your job?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess since we're here together, what are some ways we can make this useful for you?
I mean, do you have a time machine?
Unfortunately, no.
I mean, I don't know. It would be nice to like figure out what the hell Earl wants me to do. And maybe get more focused so that I can get back to my work sooner.
So you say get more focused. What are some ways that you think you could do that?
Not forgetting shit. I feel like that's what got me here in the first place, just forgetting like stupid details.
Within your work and your life?
Sure.
And then figuring out the purpose of Earl. Are there some things that you think we could dig into that might help with that?
I don't know. Maybe. When you say that everyone has their shits, I guess we could talk about some of mine. I don't really think it would make a big difference.
Let's give it a try. When you say some of your shit, lay it on me.
I like to drink. I drink a lot. certain things that I was seeing. Maybe, I doubt it, I just think I like to drink a lot. My childhood wasn't horrible, it definitely wasn't the greatest. I mean, I don't know, like, what do you wanna know about it?
Anything you wanna tell me?
I don't really have too much to say about it.
Who'd you grow up with?
My family, my mom, my dad, and my brothers, my sister.
Okay. And I think you told me this before, but older brothers
Mm-hmm.
and older sister, you're the youngest?
Yep.
Okay. And what was life like when you were little?
It was really good. Yeah, it was really good for the most part. We never wanted for anything. Parents were always around. We went to private schools. It was good. Until I was about 8 or so.
What happened when you were 8?
We had this priest that my parents really liked, and I mean, he got handsy a few times. So,
Do you know if was that just to you or was that to others also?
I don't know if he did it to anyone else, but he did it to me.
What did you do about that?
Not a goddamn thing. He told me that my body was reacting a certain way because God wanted me to know that it was okay.
And you were 8.
Yeah.
How long did that go on?
Till I was 11, 12.
Did you tell anyone?
No. I mean, who would have believed that this priest was doing that?
That sounds really scary.
That is what it is. I mean, now I'm successful-ish. I'm over it.
So that takes you to about 11. How was the rest of your childhood?
It was fine. I mean, I got, busted in high school for drinking a lot.
And then college and the police academy?
Yep.
Okay. When you were, so this priest, is this the first time you've really talked about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's really nothing to talk about.
How does it make you feel talking about it?
Angry.
Anything else?
Just really fucking angry.
Can you tell me more about that anger?
And what do you want to know about it? I feel like I could tear this office apart.
Do you feel angry towards anyone in particular?
Yeah, him. God. But mostly him.
Mm-hmm. That's very understandable. talked about drinking a lot, and you said maybe that's to cope with some of the things you've seen.
Yeah, sure.
When did you start drinking?
12, 13.
It strikes me that that's pretty soon after when all this happened with the priest.
I guess it was pretty close in time.
Oftentimes we will do things to cope with things that have happened to us without even necessarily realizing we're doing them for that reason.
Fair enough. So you think that, like, all my drinking is because of that?
Not necessarily, but it just strikes me that you started drinking shortly thereafter. You described all that happening.
Okay.
When you started drinking, what environment were you drinking in, and how was it making you feel?
Mostly with, like, teenage boys. Mostly, like, in a field. It just felt good to not, like, think about anything. I felt free.
When did you say you mentioned sex? When did you start having sex?
14, 15 maybe. I don't really remember. It's all a blur. But if I had to guess, it'd be that.
And was that with some of those boys that you would drink with?
Yeah.
Does Earl mention any of these things?
No, not outright.
Not outright.
He just thinks he knows so much and he has no idea.
I'm trying to get a better picture of what Earl, when he's appearing, kind of what he's saying. And you said he eats all your food. You've mentioned a few of the things that he'll tell you to do. But I'm trying to kind of get a picture of just what the whole experience feels like.
Okay. So. Some days, most days, I'll get off, go to the bar, I'll go home. And some days, he'll be sitting there playing with Gusman. And some days, he won't be there. But, like, maybe I'll get out of the shower and get dressed, and then he'll just be sitting on my couch. Or, like, he appeared at, like, my favorite taco place one time. He's completely random. I can't peg when where I'll see him. And I think that frustrates me.
Mm-hmm. It's confusing.
Sure.
At night when he's showing up after everything, that's after you've been drinking?
Sometimes. Sometimes he shows up after I've been drinking. Sometimes he shows up when I am completely sober. He has no schedule. He, like, comes from, like, Africa and, like, appears in my living room or my kitchen. And he's, like, always wearing these weird shirts that he gets from different countries, and, like, the words are in different languages. It's just some weird shit.
Has he told you about himself at all?
No. He's an angel. He's a second chance angel. So apparently I pissed somebody off.
Is that what he's telling you?
No, I mean, but why else would I need a second chance?
Can you think of, is there, it seems like a jump that you make to feeling like you pissed someone off. I can think of many reasons that people would need second chances.
Like what?
People may want to just start over with their life. They may have had something that happened in the past that they want to deal with or get rid of.
I don't know.
Is there a reason you think you've pissed someone off?
Because Earl has showed up and he won't leave me alone. I had to have done something horribly wrong for that to happen. I mean, my favorite taco place. I don't understand.
He's disrupting the flow of your normal life.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that disrupt your flow?
It would probably make me feel very, very scared, actually. It seems kind of scary and confusing.
I don't know about scary, but confusing for sure. Irritating, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not scared of him.
He's not a scary guy.
No. He's this old man with fucking wings. Sometimes he has a dog. With this really long tongue. It's weird.
The dog.
Yeah. And the dog's tongue just always out of its mouth. It's really bizarre. But I think Earl is just a weird dude, so why wouldn't he have a fucking weird ass dog to go with it? It's like a package deal or some shit.
Can you think of, I know you say that Earl appears very randomly, but it seems like Earl is appearing mostly at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, most of the time. Maybe sometimes before I leave for work. But like I said, he travels a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then like lunchtime is pretty standard too. But mostly when I'm by myself.
Never around other people.
No.
Do you think there's a reason for that?
Hell if I know.
Can you identify anything that kind of comes before he shows up that's consistent?
No, it's completely random. It's just whenever he wants to show up or has time or wants a fucking taco. Whenever. But he always assumes that I have time for his bull. Like he just assumes I have time for his lecture or his opinion or whatever the hell he wants to call it. Sometimes I just don't.
And it's always kind of the same stuff he tells you.
Yeah. Or like, I'm a cop. I've been trained as a cop. Earl is not, and he like tries to give me advice on cases. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's annoying. I hit him once.
What'd he do?
He told me that, this is weird. He said, I could tell you really needed to hit someone, so I'm not gonna hit you back.
He seemed almost accepting of that.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? Like, that's crazy.
He seems like he's understanding of your anger.
But I hit him.
And
Who accepts that shit? If Earl hit me, they'd be going down. It's just weird. It's just another weird thing about this dude. I mean, I didn't hit him expecting him not to hit me back. I completely expected him to do something.
Did you kind of play that out in your mind?
Yeah. For my training.
What did you picture happening?
I don't know, like getting struck by like a thunderbolt or something. Like not him turning the other cheek, which I guess would be applicable because he's an angel. But I didn't see that coming.
Seems like he's very unexpected. His actions and reactions to the way you speak with him.
Yeah, no, it's so frustrating.
One of the themes I'm seeing here is anger.
You could say that. I mean, he pisses me off.
What about in the rest of your life?
Am I angry, like, in the field?
Sure.
I mean, I would say no. But other people might have different opinions.
Like who?
I mean, you could ask my team, you could ask my captain. I mean, I don't know what their opinions would be about that specifically, but it might be different. Even if their opinions were different, it doesn't take away from the fact that I lead the best team in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter.
Your captain?
Her opinion about me being angry.
Yeah, do you think has any relevance to her wanting you to be here?
It better not. That's not what we discussed.
You discussed your focus.
Mm-hmm. That was it.
Okay. We have about 10 minutes. And I think before next session, I want to identify some goals that we can have you work on. And you have mentioned becoming more focused. And you had mentioned your drinking as not necessarily being a problem, but as something that you could see potentially being the way that you're dealing with things.
Okay. Sure.
I'm hoping that maybe between now and next session, you can try to notice before Earl is coming what similarities there might be between those times, and maybe write them down.
I think we can do that.
Okay.
Do you want me to like bring him in with me?
Yeah, so we can talk about them.
Sure.
Okay. And then, kind of the same with your drinking, if there's some themes and then what you're feeling beforehand, after, during even.
That's easy. Happy, mad, sad, upset. Like, there's all the time. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good. Do I still have to do that assignment?
We can focus on with Earl, the feelings that you have around that, and the things that you notice, the similarities. But I guess when you're drinking, or just in general, I'd like you to think about what types of things you think you might be coping with through drinking. know that your job is very important to you. So keeping the job and getting your focus back would be something that we'd want to work on. What can you think of as some ways that we can start working on that?
I think getting me back into the field, number one. I don't sit still well. I absolutely hate being in the office all day. That's not gonna help me. I need to go back to normal.
What are some things that you can do?
Aside from finishing this therapy,
Right, or during this therapy?
I mean, hell if I know. What should I do?
Do you think you could have a discussion with your captain? Maybe more specifically about what she's looking for?
I could do that. Might just piss me off, but I could probably do that.
And if it does piss you off, that's something we can talk about next time.
Alright.
Okay. So between now and next week, let's have you keep track of the stuff with Earl. Keep track of any similarities you see beforehand, during, even after. Maybe think about what things you might be coping with through drinking and why it's making you so happy. And then if you can, have that discussion with your captain.
Sounds good. I'll try to get it done.
Okay. Just whatever you can do.
Okay.
Are there any questions you have for me?
At what point are you going to let my captain know that I'm good to go?
I think that'll depend a lot on what we discuss here.
Fine.
Therapy's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be something that confronts a lot of issues that you've maybe had in the past or in the present. And so as we work through those things, I think it'll become clear to you also when you feel ready to go back to everything.
Fair enough.
Anything else for today?
No.
Okay. I'll see you next Monday at the same time.
Don't have too much of a choice.
Okay, sounds good.